Thank you so much for joining today's video. We'll be going over music and how it impacts our perspective, also the way we react to certain situations. Not necessarily every single song, it is mostly centered around the music industry and how they pretty much gain from us. As always, make sure to like and subscribe as well as comment anything you'd like me to cover and share to anyone that needs to hear these conversations. So let's begin. Starting off with spiritual. So there's a lot of sin conveyed in music videos. What I mean by this is lust. There's a concept of women. There's a concept of how they should be dressing, provocative. There's greed. People showing off how much money they have, the wealth they have. Something that we should all be pushing towards. And that's not something positive whatsoever. Why? Because it's pushing you to think that only one person should be holding the power. Only one person should be holding all the money. And this pushes our society not to be unified. It pushes us to always look at each other as someone inferior, looking down upon us. So obviously that's something negative. Looking down upon somebody else is not something that should be pushed to society. The other thing is God is the definition of love. There's a lot of songs going out there trying to proclaim romanticism towards another person. And the thing is, people change. There's no way for you to truly define love towards another person where it's just temporary for the moment being. Things do change, and the only way for us to truly become better is to understand that God is the definition of love. So having music videos that always push this stigma, this idea that there's only that one person well defined and they have to have this, that, pointers, instead of truly valuing a person, truly loving one another, not just romantically, but actually understanding and seeking a union within everybody else around you. That should be the definition of it all, not just one person, one individual, and then you end up with a heartbreak, and then that song reminds you of that person all the time. So unfortunately, that's not really something you should be pushing towards. So music does influence our soul, whether you like it or not, whether you think that, oh yeah, well, I listen to it, it will never affect me. The issue is we continue listening to the same song over and over again and repeat on our mind. So if that doesn't really affect us, come on. It does affect us. Why? It continues playing in our heads. It continues reproducing itself. Maybe the music video was already seen, so that thing does implant on our soul. And that ends up actually affecting us, the way we react, the way we behave. We're not trying to be someone exemplary. We're trying to be somebody that the music videos portray. So most of the times we're gonna push towards sins. We're gonna push towards trying this idea of romanticism defined under the music videos instead of truly loving one another. Instead of trying to push sins away, we're going towards that direction where society is going instead of being emotionally. There's this idea with the music that the solution to heartbreak is to go out there, have fun, do whatever you feel like it, and end up sleeping with anything that you find, or go clubbing, or instead of actually facing the heartbreak, instead of actually facing what we are going through, we put this in the back of our minds and it stays there. It compiles, and little by little there becomes this entire huge issue we have. And the problem is not that heartbreaks are good. Of course they're not. The issue is that we never truly confront it. We never confront the fact that we are imperfect. That the main reason why relationship breaks down is not necessarily because we're perfect, because there's nothing we could have done to prevent what was going on. No, we need to grow. We need to be better. we're not going to be better if we continuing the same cycle over and over again, repeating ourselves with the same person, well, or type of person, right? We're not gonna grow into a real relationship when all we're seeking is fun and adventure and new experiences. That's just not the way to go. Unfortunately, that's impossible. So there's this idea of going out there and living your best life instead of truly trying to understand that we can be better. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say this unfortunately a little too much. We're not perfect. We're born into an imperfect world, and we have to seek to truly grow. It will not happen by us trying to ignore what we went through or ignore that we have issues. And all of this music, it pushes toxic behavior. Why? Because there's a lot of hatred in songs. There's a lot of anger out there. Instead of us learning to control our emotions, understanding our emotions, we push music that will allow us to explode into our anger, and we're pushing these behaviors out there the way we should behave. Music videos do push that, unfortunately. Instead of us addressing our emotions, understanding them, we're following along what the music video portrays. Oh, well, that's how we should react. So in certain situations, we're over here reacting the way the music video is shaping us. It does affect us, whether we want to say it or not. We repeat the vocabulary that is said in the music videos. It's not something that we just, oh, it won't affect me because I have control. Well, unfortunately, we don't, because we end up following along what everybody is doing, and most of the times the music videos or the music that is pushed out there is not trying to make us be more pacifist or be more calm, have more patience. It's pushing us to be more aggressive. Instead of us reacting and thinking about what we're gonna do in our actions and our consequences, we're just doing whatever. We're just reacting to the situation. That's something that it is toxic, and this does influence our reaction. It does allow us to, instead of understand how to control ourselves, we're just reacting. So also the stigma of seeking violence, seeking aggressiveness, whether it's our wording or whether it's throwing punches. There's a lot of music that goes out there that pushes that in ourselves. And what do I mean by that? Well, you're more likely to be more aggressive depending on the type of genres you do listen to. So instead of us truly understanding and having control over ourselves, we're just reacting. And music does push and influence our reaction. What we see on the music videos, what we hear and listen to, and this is something that continues repeating throughout the day. If we listen to that type of song, we're addicted to that song. That's something that we will push whenever somebody comes to confront us. Instead of trying to be reasonable, instead of us trying to think about the repercussions or thinking actually about the consequences and what we should be doing, we're just doing what is being done in the music video. So having that, there's also the issue with having songs attached to a person. And this goes back to the definition of love, right? People are imperfect. We get attached to someone, and then all of a sudden we're dedicating songs to an individual instead of us truly understanding that love has a different definition. Mentally, it's a waste of memory to be memorizing these lyrics. Why? Well, I don't even need to explain it. It's a waste of time to be dedicating yourself to just grabbing all these lyrics to memory. It's just a waste. There's nothing productive about it. Instead of us reading a book, we're more inclined towards memorizing every single word in a song that's our favorite. And I understand it, right? Then there's a point where we're like, oh yeah, this is my rhythm and everything. But if we truly start examining the lyrics, and there's a lot of twisted meaning behind many songs. There's many that have really good tunes that you could think they're positive, but they're actually talking about gun violence, and we have to actually understand that. Just because it sounds great does not mean it's trying to convey a positive message. Instead of us dedicating ourselves to reading something, learning something new, getting more knowledge, we were over here dedicating ourselves to memorizing lyrics. And this does influence our vocabulary. Many songs putting out this weird words nowadays that we're putting into our society, instead of actually learning how to define a new way to express ourselves, we're just being more inclined towards something that is hip, something that is, oh, modern. Yeah, and things do change, but instead of us truly learning new words and truly expressing ourselves, we're just following along with whatever is cool and whatever is going along. We need to truly improve our vocabulary. We need to improve our mind. It's not gonna be improved if we just follow along into something that sounds good. Financially, yes, there's some impacts. Why? It most music is gonna push you to follow the system, which is defined as throwing your money away. Yes, you can have all this ego, showing off all this money, buying designer clothes because that's what the music video shows. Well, that's not really going to get you out of being broke. As much as you want to showcase, and yeah, you might be making good money at the moment, but watch a recession happen and see where you end up. And this goes back again to the sins. We're trying to push greed, we're trying to push envy and pride during those songs. Why? Because we're trying to show ourselves better than everybody else. We want to look down upon whoever is beside us instead of truly loving one another. And this does impact us financially. Why? Because we're just following along instead of us truly putting money aside and trying to think of better ways to spend our money. We're just throwing it away. I'm sorry, designer clothes is not gonna get more expensive with every year that you use it. It's gonna obviously degrade over time. It's already degraded as soon as you buy it. So it's a huge waste of just throwing money away. And this does influence our spending. It defines how we're gonna throw our money away, unfortunately, because instead of us being proactive, instead of us investing our money towards something that can be better, maybe start a business, try to think about ways that you can make that money do more than just throwing it away. We're just following along, and that's something that affects every single generation. Why? Because we see this. We start from a young age having these ideas in mind. So instead of us being financially literate, we don't understand how money works. We just follow along, and this is something that's implemented from our youth that ends up affecting us in the long run. Most of the times, it does affect us in the short term. Just get a recession going, and voila, you're out in the streets for why? Because we're not thinking about what we're doing with our money. We're just throwing it away for no reason. Physically, yep, physically. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that it physically affects your muscles or the food you eat. No. Not like that. It defines how we dress. Designer clothes is not a way to dress. Why? It's so expensive. It's not meant to be that expensive. I'm sorry. I'm not about to buy a $500 shirt when I can just buy it for $5. Definitely not. But like I said, it does define how we dress. Instead of us having a nice pair of shoes and shirt, and like I said, saving that money away instead of just throwing it away into like an expensive Gucci bag or whatever. Like I'm not that type of person. Why? Because that is a waste of money. The other thing is there's a lot of subliminal messages in videos. If you actually start looking into them instead of just listening to them, instead of just going along, actually examining the videos, actually listening and watching them, truly watching them, not by just sitting there and seeing them. No, actually stopping it and looking at what's portrayed. No. What I mean by this is obviously there's a lot of stuff that's hidden behind our eyes. If we truly start searching for things, we will find a lot of stuff out there. And you cannot say that God is not real when there's all this stuff going on, talking about this and that. Well, no. It is unfortunate that this is something that we try to push and think that it's unreal. And we try to think that, well, no, everything is okay, it's just imaginary. It is very unfortunate because a lot of these music videos are not trying to show a positive message. They're not trying to show that we should be more proactive. Instead, there's a lot of messages hitting in there where we're trying to push aggressiveness, where we're trying to push, being violent just because, trying to show a way of power by, using guns and all that stuff. It's always in there if we actually start searching for it. And overall, it will influence our behavior, the way we act upon everybody else. We listen to some music where we have to be more aggressive. We're gonna be showing that off to everywhere we go because we wanna reflect that image on the video because I guess you do want to fit in. Everybody wants to fit in. But it is unfortunate that we get to the point where instead of us being unique, instead of us being who we are, we're trying to show this mask and that we are, hiding behind. Instead of being us, instead of being authentic, we're just following along. And unfortunately, you're not authentic by just doing what everybody else is doing. I can see everybody dressing the same way. There's nothing different. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the video. As always, thank you so much for listening to this conversation. Like, subscribe, and it is a big topic. I could break it down a little bit more, but I just want, like I said, I want to get to the point. I'm not trying to make a video that's 5 hours long. I'm just trying to keep it short. Always know that God does have a purpose for you. Jesus loves you, and I'll see you on the next one.
It's dry, isn't it? We can go slowly. I am here with you. Just a bit farther. We're all right. A spring will slake our thirst. It seems everyone, everywhere, is thirsty. There is a spring that will cure that thirst, one that weeps tears of blood. That's what they said, anyway. This way. It's all right. So, it is you. Here. This is for you.
A new spring and a fresh source of labor. Ha ha! We really hit the jackpot. Get up. It's time for a bit of fun.
On your feet. We're about to go hunt for blood beads. Hurry up and get ready.
You awake then? Whoa, keep it down. Your friend just fell asleep. So, what happened to your masks? Forgotten about those too, have you?
Are you going to kill me too? Anything for a kick, right? Just don't crush my heart. Stop already. My body may still be alive, but my soul died long ago. No one could stay sane after dying again and again and again and again. Don't take my memories, my family. I have nothing left.
There's no way we're gonna find blood beads. The missile's all dried up, and the miasma keeps getting thicker. Telling us to look for blood beads here is just crazy.
Monitoring, they say, the folks up there. They might live in safety. But because of their levy, we have to risk our necks to collect blood beads. Just you wait. One day, I'm gonna make thralls out of the whole lot.
Getting close to it causes enough pain to drive you mad, so no one has ever crossed it. There's nowhere to go home to, even outside of this prison.
This one's dry. The miasma's pretty thick. Damn it! We're running out of time before the next collection. Everything's ready. Right. I'm on my way. All dried up. Just like the others.
Yeah, all dried up. So there's no sense in searching with the miasma like this. Let's...
You know what these are, right?
Blood beads, right?
Yes, very good. Now I want you to search for blood beads in the tunnels ahead of here. You see, it's only a short time before the collectors come to take our levy. But once they do, I'm afraid we won't have any blood beads to give them. If we don't find some, Silva's hounds will strip the shirts right off our backs. Well, that's the long and short of it.
Why does it have to be us?
Don't ask me. The stupid levy system was Silva's idea. If you have a complaint, I suggest you take it up with him. You lot go first. Get to work.
Don't. There's a better time and place. For now, we just have to obey.
Next!
Whoa there. You wait here with us. You can have this one back when you return. In exchange for any blood beads you find, of course. Oh, and I hear the hunter has been showing up around here lately. So make sure you don't all get killed.
You heard him. Move it!
Ouch! Hey, you okay? It looks like we can't get back up from here. We'll have to look for another way back. Oh, I'm Oliver Collins, by the way. Nice to meet you. Dead lost. I've never seen one before. I say dead, but they're not really dead. It's just a state before they turn into real monsters. So I've heard. Sometimes it takes years for the transformation to start. So we can just leave them. Well, should we set act? Whatever you can to survive. Please don't fall. Is there something good in there? There's a lot of boxes. You think they're all empty? What's that doing there? Fine, really. That wasn't very convincing, was it? These masks are the old type. Hard to breathe in them. How are you doing? That girl, she's your friend, right? We should find some blood beads and go back for her quick. above us. Which way do you think is better?
Hello. So yeah, we're over here playing Code Vein. I think it's been out for a bit in PS Plus. I never really checked it out because I don't really keep up with what's coming out unless it's something that I really like. And nowadays I'm kind of like, you know, very careful what I buy. But this game is awesome. Maybe I'm being a little biased because it's like Dark Souls. I didn't know it was like Dark Souls until I literally started playing it. I was like, what? And yeah, learning the mechanics, learning how to block, that's kind of something that I like to learn. And then understanding difficult bosses, I find that fun. I used to have a lot of issues with anger. Now I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. I'm over here laughing like crazy because those bosses are ridiculous. But, and like I said, I'm not trying to make the game compared to what I'm talking about in the video, because if you see in this gameplay, she's a little bit provocative. So like I said, it's not intentional. I just look at something and I'm like, I want to play this game. I tried out playing another game. I think it was Chivalry 2 that's actually out. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm very selective, like I said, maybe a little too selective of what I like to play. But I did play that. It just wasn't something I really enjoyed that much. I find it a little too difficult to control. Maybe I could learn, and maybe that, like I said, I am being biased because I like things to be the way they are, games that I actually like. The other one I did want to play was the one where I think you're riding motorcycles or something. It kind of looks intriguing, but like I said, I'm very picky with games, and this game is actually crazy. I did finish playing, Tales of Iron. That game is awesome. I did say it since the beginning, since last week. It's a great game, but yeah, like I said, not a lot of sleep in my schedule lately, so a lot of things going on, and maybe I'm gonna change the upload day to Sunday. Could be more definitive compared to just Thursday and then end up uploading Friday and then changing it to Saturday. And I think that's the best schedule because me being up at 3 in the morning, I have to be up in 2 hours. So yeah, like I said, I'm not really sleeping right now, but I'll keep you all updated. As always, make sure to like, and I say this all the time, thank you so much for your support. Have a great morning, afternoon, night. Check out this game if you haven't, and there's a lot of other games. I was also playing Spider-Man as well, but it's getting removed soon. I'm not really big into open world that much. It's just too much freedom. I like games that are limited. Like if I put 10 hours, I'll be done with it. But if it's like gonna take me a lifetime to finish, I lose interest real fast. Well, not too fast. Maybe I spend like 3 hours and I'm doing a lot of quests because I like to be a completionist. But after that a bit, I kind of just don't feel like doing it anymore. And the main reason I say this is because I do have Cyberpunk, and I also have The Witcher 3. And yeah, like I said, I play those for a little bit. I'm like fascinated by the world, and then after that, I'm just like, it's boring. So, sorry about that. It is a treat for me because I need something that I can finish, and I do not have all the time in the world. Anyways, I'll let you go. Like I said, check out the game. Definitely fun, and it is challenging for me because I didn't know I could change the weapon, or I guess I didn't know I picked up any other weapons. So I ended up playing with that little stick, which doesn't do anything. Well, it was still fun, and then I changed it, and then it was like less challenging. I was like, okay. But I'll see you on the next one. You'll take care. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Bye.